What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody had an excellent week. Thank goodness it's Friday. We got a weekend full of football ahead of us. So hopefully next year the Jets will be a part of this wild card weekend, which is super exciting. We got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. As the season's now over, you look towards free agency and the draft. The free agency, right now the Jets are armed with $61 million, if not more. So they have a lot of flexibility to go out and get whatever guy they want. So what I'll do is a bunch of videos. I know everybody's doing these kind of videos, but I kind of want to make mine a little bit different. First of all, I'm not an expert or an analyst, so I'm not going to offer you any hot takes and break down any kind of legit fundamentals and all those other things, X's and O's. But I'll just give information out, and we can have just interactions going through the comments, just saying, hey, tell me what guy you like, what guy you don't like, and why. We'll make it like that. Just make it easier. Just have some fun with it. It's a long off season, so we have plenty to discuss. So this first video will be about the tight end position, which has been a hole in this offense for about a decade. Mike LaFleur said he wants a guy that is a very good blocker first, and then a receiver secondary. A legitimate tight end could help Zach Wilson in terms of a safety valve, open up the offense, open up the outside. It can do a lot of different things. So they definitely need one, if not two. You can sign one and draft one. You can do a lot of different things. But in terms of free agent options, the first thing you think about is age of a player, his health, and then the money they want. So the money we already talked about, the Jets can afford them. So you want a young guy, 25, 26, that could be here for a few years. You don't want stopgap guys. You don't want Band-Aids. We had enough of those already. So the first guy that comes up is Zach Ertz with the Cardinals. Very, very good tight end. Towards the tail end of his career, I think he's 31 years old. So the thing is, first of all, would he want to come to the Jets with a quarterback like Zach Wilson that's still on the rise? Or would he want a more established guy? I'm tending to think he'd probably want the more established player so he can keep chasing titles, be in the playoffs and do different things. So I'm not sure he'd really consider the Jets unless they grossly overpay him, which I don't think they will do. The next player is going to probably be the top of the market. It'd be Dalton Schultz with the Cowboys, who had a breakout year. I think he's young too. He's 25 years old. And I think the starting point for his contract is going to be 4 years, $50 million. That's where you're starting at. So I think a lot of teams are going to be bidding on him. So now it's a matter of, does he want to come to the Jets? How much would it take to get here? And the teams that you're competing with, who is their quarterback? And I think that comes back to a lot. And I'm a Zach Wilson fan. I'm just saying, if you're a team like whoever, give me a name, like a team that has an accomplished quarterback, whether it's, I don't even know, just say Dak Prescott. It's hard to bring somebody here where it's because they want their numbers. They want to get their stats. Winning is important, but they also want their stats. It may be a tough selling point. Mike Gesicki with the Dolphins, another guy everybody keeps talking about. The first question is, will he leave the Dolphins? Will they keep him or will they not? And then if not, it could be another bidding war. If you have only 2 or 3 top tight ends on the market and a lot of teams that need them, a lot of money is going to get spent. So will the Jets go to the next level to take a guy from their AFC East rival? I'm not so sure about that. Another player that is mentioned that I watched a lot, unfortunately, is Evan Ingram with the Giants. And I just think he is so inconsistent with so many drop passes, and it just doesn't seem like a kind of guy the Jets would want. I think he's going to get a lot of money. He's going to be crazily paid with a Pro Bowl on his resume. But that's one guy I really don't have a good feeling about. O.J. Howard with the Buccaneers. I liked him when he first came out in the draft. He had so much talent, but he's been kind of underachieving. He had an injury. He's not really a consistent blocker. So while he has that potential, and he's still very young, I don't think he's kind of like a guy that Jets are going to want to pay money on. David Njoku with the Browns, another guy that has all-world potential, so much potential, good blocker, but everything you see out of him is that the Browns want him back, and he wants to go back to the Browns. So that's going to be kind of you got to see if he actually hits free agency. And then secondly, they always say that, but then usually the player says, I want to go back to the Browns, until they make him an offer he doesn't like. They'll be like, you know what, I got to go test free agency. So does he hit the open market? And if so, what kind of money will he command? I think I saw something where it was his starting point, 4 years, $30 million. That's a starting point where they think the negotiation is going to start at. So those players there, you're not too sure about. Robert Tonyan with the Packers coming off an injury, not really any big numbers. He seemed like he was kind of he kind of plateaued a little bit. So is that kind of a low risk, potentially high reward guy you want? I guess you can consider him, but it doesn't really seem like he'd fit in my mold that I'd be looking for. One player that does intrigue me is Tyler Conklin with the Vikings. Very good blocker. He had 60 catches or 61 catches, and maybe he's a kind of under the radar guy where you can take and you get a guy like that, and then you draft another guy, and then you have Kenny Yeboah. Maybe that's a guy you consider, and maybe he may not cost as much as everybody else does. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any kind of like contract projections with him. Like like Anthony Ferkser with the Titans. Ferkser's a former Jet. These are kind of like lunch pail guys. Like they were given opportunities based on injuries or whatever else, or like people leaving, and they maximize it. So that's a guy that's very intriguing as well. Uzuma with the Bengals. I probably said his name wrong. Another guy that's in a good offense, good contributor. Be a little bit older though. I think he's like 28 years old. Do you consider a player like him? You have Max Williams. You have, what's the other guy I mentioned? I saw, Hayden Hurst. All interesting players, but it's like, it seems like you have tiers. Like Zach Ertz is like that veteran guy. Then you have the Gesicki and Schultz. Then you have the next tier players, like, I think OJ Howard's kind of, like him. Like, so to me, Conklin seems the most fascinating, but, I don't know. So you guys tell me what you think. It's obviously an enormous hole. Or you could say, you know what? I don't like none of the guys you mentioned I want to spend a lot of money on. I want to go right into the draft and stick with Ryan Griffin and Yeboah and all these other guys. So we'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. If you want me to do it a different way or a different approach, I'm willing to try it. Like, this is kind of out of my comfort zone. I usually do stuff that's kind of fun, like just breaking down like I'm mad, I'm not mad, or this sucks, or this is good. So let me know what you think.